All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 26 of the Across Your Bow podcast. I'm, of course, your host, Servant of my King. Good to see you. Nice to see you. And with me today is my man, Khreegor. You guys can find him over at twitch.tv/khreegor, or you guys can hit him up on his Twitter over there at _Khreegor. What is up, bro? How you been?
Man, living the dream, grinding the boats, trying to keep my head above water.
I understand that. Now, it's been, for you guys that haven't done it, it's been about 2 months since we had our last episode, as my father is doing very well now. I had to go take care of him, and then I just took some time off, and then was not unable to get a guest scheduled on a short term for June, so we just set it for July. So, welcome, July the 2nd, 2019, episode number 26. So, let's go into some news. There's a lot of news coming out. You know, all the community contributors went to Russia, or some of them did. I was unavailable. Or I was not even asked. I guess that's better to go. I would love to go. What about you?
It'd be a pain in the ass for me to go. It'd be an interesting trip, but it'd be a pain in the ass. So I'd probably, it'll shock some, turn it down for now.
Man, even if I just went one time, I would love to do it. It's like a once in a lifetime opportunity to be able to do this. To go across go across and see a country that you've never seen before. I mean, I would love to do it once, just once, and then after that, because I mean, we're big guys, sitting in that plane for 15 hours or more. That would be very hard on the body, for me at least.
Oh yeah, I'm 6'3". My knees dig in the back of the seats unless they're getting me business class the whole way. It's just not a comfortable experience at all.
But I heard they all had a good time. I know some people had a little bit too much to drink that we found. That we saw.
Yeah, some great videos.
Saw some pictures. They will be releasing all the presentations that they did. They said that they would be releasing them sometime this week, I believe, and we would be able to actually take a look at those.
I think it was a soon TM.
Yeah, soon TM. I don't know. I know some of the stuff that they said that they talked about while they were over there was NDA until like tomorrow or some crap, so I'm not sure. From what I understand, I didn't get to go, so whatever. So that leads me into my first little question for you. If you had one question to ask the devs, or something that was important to you as a player, as a longtime player, what would you ask them to work on? Why anything? Let me give you mine. Since
okay, let's see where yours is first.
I've obviously floored you here with that question, but my question would be: was there any chance that we can get a re-looking at fire prevention? Because I find that fire prevention doesn't do enough. With all the HE spam boats out there, with all the HE spam boats that we've seen, that we've tested out there, fire prevention doesn't seem like it's worth 4 points anymore. It's just not good enough. So I'm thinking maybe we up that 10% of the fire resistance to 30%, or even 40%. You know, ask for 40 and then settle for 25. You know what I mean? And to cut down a quarter of the fire, because I find as a battleship player or as a cruiser player, I set a lot of fires on these guys, and there's really not much retaliation that they can do to it. There's not much they can do. They can hit their fire, they can hit their repair button. 20 seconds later, they're on 3 fires again. So, and inevitably, as a battleship player, as soon as that immunity goes down, you're instantly on fire again. Probably about 80% of the time, from what I understand.
Yep.
Give or take. So that would be mine. Could we get a relook at fire prevention and make it better?
They definitely need something. Being one of those dirty Henri guys that you hate to see on the enemy team, yeah, there's times I feel like I'm just kicking a puppy. You know, get that first salvo of a double or triple fire in the Yamato, watch him pop the repair, and know that it's going to be an easy 50k damage off of him. Relight and move on to the next guy.
Yep.
Then just let him burn down because he's neutered.
Yeah. So there you go. There's the post question there out there for everybody. What would you guys have? If you guys could sit down and one question and they would answer whatever, put that in the chat and we'll get to some of those at the end of the show.
I would say mine would be, can we stop releasing new ships and new lines for 1 quarter and just focus on, and is it possible with that pause to focus on the rework and the UI? Take all those devs working on the other ones and refunnel it to just clean up what we have instead of putting more ribbons on something that's starting to smell in places. Can we so I guess the question would be, can we refocus resources from, column new to column work just for a 1 quarter window? So I don't want a permanent change. We got to have new stuff coming in. But just for that short time, can we please, for the love of God, fix what we have and then worry about bringing new shinies in for people?
That's a fair point. I know there's a lot of new ships. There's a lot of new ships that have come into the game that kind of really, I don't want to say don't have a place, but their place is very elevated above everything that everything else that is out there. I'm not going to call them OP because no ship in this game is OP. It's all on that player to play that ship that makes it seem OP. A la the Stalingrad when it first came out. All the good players were getting it, so of course it seems OP because the good players are playing it. Benham came out, and I think that this boat is very, very strong. I don't find it excruciatingly overpowered, but it's very, very strong, and I think it's overly strong with the 65-second reloads on the torpedoes. And I think that they should have looked at that, and I put the feedback in. I know a couple other people put the feedback in. 65-second lowest reload at Tier 9 for Fletcher torpedoes. They'd hit like a truck, and they're relatively fast, I guess. It's just a lot of torpedo spam, and with more and more torpedo spam that we're getting, why is the Kitakami not in the game? With all the torpedo spam that we have, why is the Kitakami not in the game? Because that is nothing but pure torpedo spam.
Well, and with the crazy rapid fire spam, and now we're looking at a Tier 10 potentially with smoke and a crazy rate of fire, why don't we have the Belfast and the Kutuzov back? Yeah. You just gave it to us at a Tier 10 level.
Exactly.
You can't say they were OP at its lower level anymore.
No. And this is something that I like to throw out there from time to time, is that I think that these boats that they have retired have a place in the game again. The Grimmy is still not overpowered. The Grimmy is without the stealth fire nerf. With that stealth fire nerf that they hit, the Grimmy lost a lot of power. It's still relatively strong, but it's lost a lot of power. So I don't find it broken anymore. The Julius Caesar is probably one of the most broken ships in the game because it averages more damage than a Tier 6 battleship, and so there's that. Let's go ahead and talk about these three really controversial ships here: the Smolensk, the Colbert, and the Slava. These are 3 Tier 10 boats. Mm-hmm. 2 of them are really high HE spam. You got 12 guns or 16 guns on the Smolensk, get 139s that fire every every 6 seconds or something like that. And then you have the Colbert, which is a whole lot of 127s. That fire arcing like the Atlanta does and fires every couple of seconds. Then you have the Slava, which is a Russian Tier 10 battleship that gets bonus accuracy the further away it is.
Yep.
Now, before I go to my opinion, what do you think about these boats in general?
So you changed my mind on the Slava. Originally, I was 100%. Screw that boat. It's encouraging a meta we don't need.
Right.
However, I didn't think about it as the fact that is a really good counter boat, essentially to me. Your Zhao players, your Henri players who are going to sit in the back and just whoop your butt all day long with the HE spam. Now, so by having a ship with the accuracy that can potentially stop me and not give me free reign, that's a good counter. I just worry that people will try and take that same from the Slava and take it to the Kremlin and try and do that in the first and try and do it in every other boat that's not designed to do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's inevitably what happens. We saw that with the UK battleships when it released. Everybody started slinging HE. I even had people come into the stream that were being 100% serious, because I can kind of read trolls a little bit here and there, saying that I needed IFHE on my Yamato. Yeah. That's exactly.
Oh, it hurts.
That's exactly the same look that I got, and I was like, "Are you smoking crack?" Number one. Number two, no, that's just no. That you just don't have no idea what you're talking about. So
Yeah.
with that being said, there's a couple of boats out there that are designed for longer range. The Amagi, the whole Japanese line are basically built around the longer range, but their consistency at the longer range isn't anywhere near what the consistency of the Slava is. So I think the Slava has a perfect place in this game mode, and I'm not, I'm on a very minority, especially between the community contributors. I mean, I've watched the feedback on these things, and they're just shitting all over this boat. This thing doesn't need to exist. This thing doesn't need to exist, and I am of the very small minority here in saying that no, this is a perfect battleship. This is absolutely what I want a battleship to be. Long-range, accurate guns that can actually dominate the cruisers to where they need to be. The battleships over the cruisers, well, I'm supposed to be able to knock these dudes out, and what's going to give me that opportunity? Longer range longer range AP spam. That's what's going to happen, and I think that this boat is perfect for this meta, especially because of the Henrys and how wiggly they are, the Zows how wiggly they are. The Yoshinos aren't so wiggly, but they're long range, really strong boats. The Hindenburg, and I think that this boat, the Slava, can counter some of those aspects of the game, and I think it's a good thing for the game.
You made me convert. Because I wasn't thinking about that when I was just thinking about it's going to reinforce the sit back and fire meta, and realize we need more of a counter than just the Yamato and the Amagi to it. So
No.
I am now a convert to the school of Venom when it comes to the Slava. The Colbert and the Smolensk?
Yeah.
No, hell no.
All right, so check this out. Me and my man Timmy G went in as I was a Colbert and he was a Harry Gumbo.
Oh God!
And we burned down 70,000 damage on a Montana in less than a minute. That's between me and him, just continuously holding the button down. I'm sorry, but that's ridiculous. It's a little ridiculous. The Smolensk isn't as intense as that other one, but I have had some really stupid games in that Smolensk as well. There's a little bit of caveats to these boats. These boats don't have but 35,000 hit points. But they also have, anytime that they take Citadel damage, you can heal up that Citadel damage now. So they've buffed both of them, or at least the Colbert. They've buffed the Colbert. I don't know what they've done to the Smolensk, but they buffed the Colbert twice. And I don't and I'm like, honestly, man, I don't get it. I don't understand what they're going for with these two particular boats, the Smolensk and the Colbert.
I've got no idea. On Sleeping Giant North Spawn, I went to the east side of the map, put my butt right against the island at an angle so my guns could clear it, fired all the way down across the map into the enemy team, until they finally got a destroyer all the way up north and around the corner next to me. They couldn't see me. They couldn't stop me. 1,123 shell hits before they finally were able to do something about me. It was insane. After the game, I'm like, guys, I don't need to test this one anymore this round. This is just busted as shit.
Yeah. There's something to be said about that particular style of play, the Atlanta style of play. I'm calling it the Atlanta style of play, but basically you're humping islands and you have a good arcs that you can get over these islands. And everybody knows in the channel that's hung around that the Atlanta is my favorite boat in the game. It's my absolute favorite. I think it takes a lot of patience and a lot of skill to play these boats well. And I think with the torpedo on the Atlanta gives it a huge corner holding advantage, and which is where the Smolensk can do. The Colbert does not have torpedoes, but it can hold the corner pretty hard. You want to come around that corner?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to eat you up. I mean, those 127s flat broadside on the Demonies. I did 7 Citadels in one volley, plus a whole bunch of other stuff. So, I mean, it's a very, very good, solid play style that not a lot of people understand how to play it. But the ones that do are going to love that boat. The ones that don't are going to hate that boat. And I know I do not want to be on the receiving end of that shit.
Yep, it is the French high-velocity shells that can pen at goofy angles. And that thing just does it at a crazy rapid rate of fire.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it goes even further than it goes. It goes back into my original statement about my question. They're going to release all these highfalutin, high explosive, let's fire them out every 2 seconds boats, but then they're not going to address the problem that they cause, so much HE spam. Where's the defense on that HE spam? There's not.
Yeah.
And fire prevention's just, I sit there. I don't care if you're on 4 fires or 3 fires. 3 fires is still 3 fires. And if I can maybe, just maybe hold off on a fire for a minute, extend the immunity time, or put some kind of diminishing returns. You got 100% fire chance on this shot. Now that thing's burnt out, or I've repaired it, now you have a 70% chance to actually set a fire on this zone. Or I know it's gonna mess up all the calculations or whatever that they have, but
like a damage saturation for solid rounds, but for fire.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we have this built into the system. That's where a DD can take 2 torpedoes on the nose and still survive. We have it built in.
You proved it.
Yeah, exactly. We have this system that so many AP shells in one zone of a Yamato, you're not going to get any damage from this thing. Why am I setting fire to something that has no hit points anymore?
Yeah,
and that's the frustration part about the way fire is calculated and fire is damaged. Let it burn less. Let it burn for less time, like they did the floods. I mean, something has to be done. And I know a majority of the cruiser captains out there were going to be like, well, that's the only counter we have for. Fine, that's fine. That and you know what? I'm perfectly fine with that. That's what IFHE was for. To get more damage and still be able to set fires. You don't want to fix that? Fine. Take the fire chance off of IFHE altogether. Then you're still getting that high alpha damage, but now I am safe and I don't have to, or lower the fire chance even more. I mean, there's some things that they can adjust to. Exactly. They can do something to adjust. And the majority of the people that you say this to are like, oh, you're just a battleship crybaby. And like, no, I have really good stats and babies. I play everything. I'm just seeing a big problem, a big rousing problem that nobody else is seeing. So.
Yep.
No,
I agree. There needs to be something. I know a lot of people that have stopped playing because the current fire meta is just completely unfun because they have nothing they can do against it. Mm-hmm. Once they have to repair the triple fire, then they get triple fired immediately as soon as it goes on cooldown. Yeah. They're like, well, what am I going to do?
I was on 6 fires in under a minute. I got set on 3 fires. This is with fire prevention, guys. I set on 3 fires. I hit my repair and immediately set on 3 fires again. And I was getting shot by one dude. I'm sorry, but I was getting shot by one dude, and I got immediately set on 3 more fires. I'm sorry, but that really defeats the purpose of fire prevention. And you're still going to burn down for those 3 fires. So anyway, I can literally spend the next 2 hours talking about this crap. But anyway, last comments on this before we move on.
If they're going to put them in, and they're going to put them in their current state, give me back Kutuzov and Belfast.
No. Give me back. Exactly. I mean, I think that a lot of people
lost your argument for why they were pulled.
Well, here's the problem that I have with this whole situation of boats that are gone. They went to attempt to fix the Julius Caesar because it still needs a fix. It's still too strong for Tier 5, right? And as soon as they did it, what happened? The whole Reddit community, the whole community in general were up in arms. I paid for this boat. I want it to stay the way it is. And I'm like, you're an idiot. You are flat stupid because look at the opportunity that they have to fix this boat and put it back for sale. Fix the Belfast, put it back for sale. Fix the Kutuzov. You missed out on a lot of things that you could have possibly have had and make these boats balanced. So I say you have no say in anything that comes out anymore. The Smolensk or the Colbert or the Slava, fuck you, because you want broken boats. You don't want balanced ships. You want these broken boats. You want the Belfast to stay broken. You want the Cooter to stay broken. You want the Julius Caesar to stay broken. You have no say on what's coming out in the future.
Oh, yeah. Many people want busted boats, but they don't want to play against them. Like, you don't get both options. You either get a ridiculous-ass ship and you have to deal with being across from it, or you get nothing. Like you need to pick.
Absolutely. You can't have broken ships and then cry for balance. You can't do it. I'm sorry. I don't believe you anymore. I mean, like your opinion has dropped in my book. If you want the broken boats, but then you want balanced ships. And a lot of people will say, well, I paid for this thing. That's it. That's just wrong for them to change it after I bought it because I bought it for this reason. Well, they'll give you an opportunity to sell it back. But
Yep.
the boats need to be balanced and the game needs to be balanced. I don't care what your personal feelings are. I'm more of a let's go here. I don't care about your wallet. But all right, moving on. So Tier 10 ranked has just ended. Well, it's ended a couple of weeks ago. I played way too many games, 300 and change. Yeah, it was rough. It was rough. And I was playing the Z52, and I started playing a little bit of the Daring toward the end. And then, sad face, I went to the Conqueror. Got so mad at the rest of the teams, and the chat was like, just play the Conch. And I was like, okay, chat, I'll play the Conch. 46 games later, I was ranked out. I had a 63% win rate out of 46 games playing the Conqueror, and I saved my star half the time. It was a rough season, man. Tier 10 is always rough for me. So is this next tier rank thing that we're going to go talk about here in a second. But it's a fair. What do you think of this rank season, man?
I couldn't make heads or tails of what teams were doing.
Yeah.
Like I saw some seriously. It seems so all over the board compared to previous rank seasons. I mean, that's really the best way I could think to word it. It was so odd, the stuff I was seeing people trying to do. Watching Hindenburg's trying to come in for caps, watching Zhao's trying to come in for caps, watching Salem's trying to kite like they're damn Henri and Zhao, watching Yamato's just rush because all they care about is trying to do as much damage and ram somebody just so they can save a star and hope their team carries on a whole nother level compared to what I've seen in the past. I got to rank 8. I was one game away from rank 7 with only 59 battles played, a 61% win rate. And I was like, you know what? I got stuff I got to get done over the next few days. I'm not going to finish the season. I don't care. Like, this is friggin' Twilight Zone weird.
It was definitely a weird season, man. And this season was marred by, I don't necessarily say marred, but this was not a good season in my eyes. I mean, everybody knows that I'm not a big fan of Tier 10 anyway. I'm not a big fan of Tier 10 ranked. I think rank should be never Tier 10 because the boats aren't really balanced with each other. The cruisers are so much stronger than all the battleships out there. The destroyers suffer, even though they're good. They just suffer because of two things. Radar's way too long. It lasts way too long, and it goes too far. Still, 9 kilometers. Fine. You want to make it 10 kilometers. Fine. Make it 35 seconds instead of 50 seconds that you can get up to. That's ridiculous. Slows the game down. All right. So that's the thing. Then a lot of people are going to say that the CVs run this season, which give or take, or the rental ships run this season. And
I will 100% say to anybody who sits there and says it was the rentals that ruined the season, it was the worst thing ever, they were so good. I had so many rental ship players carry their asses off. I would say 7 out of every 10 morons I had on my team were people that actually had somehow failed up to Tier 10, not the guys renting and trying to actually win. So I've had that argument quite a few times. People like, well, if it weren't for the rental ship, blah, blah. I'm like, no, you're dumb. You died in the first 2 minutes of the match. The 3 rentals on our team couldn't stop you, Shimakaze, from charging and gunfighting a Salem with no backup. I'm sorry. That was not the rental's fault.
No.
You lick windows for a living.
I think my issue with the rental ships goes a little bit outside of the actual gameplay. My deal with the rentals, I busted my ass to get to Tier 10. They should bust their ass to get to Tier 10 too. It's like another reason of here's a participation medal. You can give this a try. I had guys in my games. I'm like, what are you doing with your Zhao? Yeah, why are you rushing into the cap with the Zhao? You have 19-kilometer range. Use it. And he's like, oh, well, this is my first game, and I'm just trying this shit out. Try that shit out somewhere else. Don't do it in fucking ranked games. I had a couple of those. And very few of those. But my problem is that I busted my ass. I played a whole lot of games to get to tier 10. Quit giving these people shit. Let them fucking work for something in this goddamn game. It's starting to piss me off how I busted my ass for the fucking USS Black after ranking out for 5 seasons in a row just to have them hand it to them with a fucking Steel Giant fucking pay steel campaign. It drives me
like
insane that it drives me insane that the company did that, because it's like hell yeah, yo bros, I got the Black, hell yeah, it's my Black season, flexing on it, and then they're like, okay, everybody's gonna be able to get the Black now. Fuck you. That was a slap in the fucking face to me, man. It really pissed me off. And it's the same thing with these rentals. Let these motherfuckers work their ass off like I did to get to tier 10. Well, we don't have time to do it. And then shut the fuck up if you ain't got time to do it. I don't care.
Or do split tiering again.
Something. Go work for something. Quit handing these people that have, A, they may be decent players. B, they may have no idea what the fuck they're doing and they're in tier 10. All they're doing is diluting the fucking player base at the higher tiers. Right now, we did a gauntlet. The other day. It took us a week to get through tier 2, 3, 4, 5, all the premium ships that I have that we played and we won in. The best games that we played during this entire gauntlet were at tier 6, 7, and 8, and even 5. Playing these tier 9s and 10s was the worst gameplay that I have ever seen from people. Because it's like people are stupid. They get to tier 10, they have no idea how to fucking play it. Let them fucking work for the tier 10s, and that'll solve a lot of problems about the player base being shitty.
Yep.
It drives me nuts that they just give half of the. Number one, they give half of the lines away when they do a new line.
Oh.
Drives me insane. Okay, fine, give half of it away, but give away the 3, 4, and the 5. Don't give away 6, 7, and 8. Force people to play those. I don't know. I think they're backwards on a lot of things that they do. That's not to say that I despise the company. I just despise some of those actions that they've taken, because it's taken my achievement and made it nothing.
It threw it right out the damn window for all the hard work you put in.
Yeah. But anyway, so overall CVs, when we did have a CV, they were either there was no two ways about it. There was two ways about it here, but there was no middle ground. They were either dominant or they were worthless. There was when I had a CV game, they were either dominant or they were worthless, and that there was no ifs, ands, or buts. There was no middle ground. You were either going to carry the game or you weren't going to do shit. Thoughts?
Yep.
Thoughts out there?
Yeah, 100%. I approached the CVs as I can't do anything about it because I'm playing my Montana or the Daring. All I can do is hope they focus somebody else. So honestly, I ignored the CVs. I'm not going to burn stuff to try and counter something I know is not going to get countered. It's just a waste of my time. It's a waste of my effort. So I focused on what ships can I kill, what surface ships can actually hurt me at a decent rate where I need to pay attention to them. And I just act like the CVs weren't there. I let everybody else panic and work on it. I'm like, no, you can't counter it. So if you sit there and focus on it, that is his best asset he's bringing to the team, is having 3 or 4 of you so focused on him that you're not focusing on the rest of the team on the enemy side and trying to get rid of them.
No. It
worked.
CVs, you pretty much, unless they were up in your face, I pretty much ignored them. They weren't. I had several games where they were up in my face and there was literally zero that I could do, and I suffered some severe anger about it because I was getting dropped for 10,000 damage from midways in one rocket volley. I'm like, I'm sorry, but that's a little bit too much. And so I would, everybody goes off on their rant when they get hit that hard, and with literally no counter. I mean, there's literally nothing that I could do. I shot down 20 some odd planes one game, and I realized that everything that I shot down was all fighters. And but that leads us into the next little section here. They did a CV AA rework this week.
Yes.
Instead of hitting random planes to hitting specific planes. I thought that was a good deal. I'm actually shooting down planes. I think it's a little bit too many planes that I'm shooting down because in the interest of balance and looking at it balance wise, they need to do two things. They need to raise the health just a smidge, not too much, because if you do it too much, then the Tier 6, you have that same problem where Tier 6 can't do anything versus Tier 8 planes, and vice versa, Tier 8 versus Tier 10. But you can't leave it low to where everybody just gets pooped on.
Yeah, I'm just happy to see that they're essentially showing folks they haven't given up on it. They are still working on it. They understand it's still a problem. Here's another attempt to fix it, to try and swing the balance back the other way. I mean, really, it's going to be a pendulum. It's going to go back and forth until they finally settle on that perfect spot. I just got to wait for them to get there. I mean, that's really all we can do.
Yeah. So we went through a couple of phases where CVs were ridiculously strong, to the next phase where they were ridiculously weak. Then they were ridiculously strong again, and now they're coming back to. I think it's getting there finally. It's finally getting there.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a regular battleship per se, and other things are just going to, street sweep of the skies, but they can defend themselves at least. And AA boats feel like they have a purpose again to actually spec AA. Like putting AA module back on my Cleveland for the lulls actually feels like something that would be worth doing. I don't feel like I'm going to be wasting my time with it.
Right.
Which for the longest time, I told people, I'm like, don't even waste your time. It's a pointless module. You will get way more out of any other module. I don't care what you pick.
Pretty much. I mean, and that's what you tend to run into when these things happen. I mean, like the Gearing and the Grozovoy, I don't care how good you spec it, you weren't shooting shit down. Nope. And even with the Worcester, I was watching Senpai just bomb the hell out of Worcesters, and they weren't shooting down enough. They didn't shoot down any planes, and he would get triple Citadels from that hack during that rank season. That's Virtual Senpai. Guys, we're hanging out with my man Khreegor. You guys can hit him up over on his Twitch, twitch.tv/Khreegor, and at _Khreegor. Of course, you guys know, you guys got all my information down there, twitch.tv/SirVenomIK, or at Sir_Venom_IK over on the Twitter if you guys want to hook up with us. No, not like that. It's not Craigslist. Swipe left.
Are you sure?
Maybe. All right, boys, let's move into the next category here as ranked sprints are coming up. They'll start tomorrow. And they will start tomorrow.
Wait, are they?
Yeah.
I thought they got pushed off.
No, they start tomorrow.
Or
they got pushed off to tomorrow.
That's right.
Yeah, got pushed off to tomorrow. Rank sprint tier 7. Tier 10. I've already said this podcast that tier 10 I hate, but I hate tier 7 more. I hate tier 7 more. I hate tier 7. The tier 7 battleships are so terrible versus those cruisers that listen, hang on. I'm going to explain this. I'm
listening.
We're going to go into detail about tier 7's rank.
Okay.
Tier 7 ranked is probably the worst rank other than tier 10 that I've played. Number one, the battleships are terrible. The battleships are flat terrible versus those cruisers. If you look at cruisers versus battleships at that tier, every cruiser at tier 7 is viable. Every cruiser at tier 7 is borderline overpowered. Shores, Belfast, Fiji. Take a pick. Take your pick. You got the Helena. All of those cruisers are strong. Now, let's take a look at the battleships. You have the shitstorm that is the Gneisenau, the Scharnhorst. Right?
They're German battleships. All that entire line is a shitstorm.
All right.
In my opinion.
Then you have a Frenchy shotgun in the Lion.
Right?
Yeah. Then you have a Colorado, which is too slow to get anywhere. You have a Nagato and an Ashitaka that are very touchy with their accuracy and their dispersion. Very touchy. What else? What do you have? What else you have? You got a King George, which is a joke because 90% of the people that play it are going to sling HE and never going to one-shot these guys. In the world of rank season where you need to delete the enemy cruisers as fast as you can, do you want accuracy or do you want a fucking shotgun? So, the Lion, being a mid-range brawler, is a choice. I chose 3 boats. I did a video on YouTube. I chose 3 boats from each battleship, cruisers, and destroyers. Which ones I think they're going to be the best. Sinop was number 1.
100%.
Ashitaka number 2, and then Lion number 3. I put Lion number 3. Ashitaka with its Amagi style guns. If it's on, it's going to be dominant. If it's not on, you're just going to be like every other battleship at tier 7. The Lion I chose as number 3 because it's not a pusher. If you try to push in that boat, you're going to be grossly weak because you only have one gun that you could push with if you're bowing up to somebody. So there's the failing. So you have to play that mid-range, and that's it. Whereas the cruiser side, Belfast is going to be here. Helena, Fiji's good. You know, like I said, take your pick at cruisers. Boise, Nuevi. I mean, there's so many good HE spamming cruisers. You know, Atlanta, Flint. There's so many. Shores, Maoko, all the ARP nonsense.
Miyoko, I think, is a sack of crap, but that's just my opinion on that one. Some people love that ship. I've never gone to work.
Its range isn't good enough for it to be good. And same thing with the Mogami, but that's another tier and another story. But all right, so then what happens when you're not getting rid of the cruisers because your battleships are inconsistent at best, except for maybe the sign up? What happens? They dominate your destroyers, and that's the same thing that happens at tier 10. Same fucking thing that happens at tier 10. So these are not balanced tiers. Tier for tier, battleship for cruiser, these are not balanced ships. The cruisers dominate tier 7, the cruisers dominate tier 10. So this is my whole thing. When you look at something as tier 6 or tier 8, the battleships are all good there. The cruisers are all good there. The destroyers are all good there. It's same thing with tier 8. All of the battleships are good at tier 8. All of the cruisers are good at tier 8, and all the destroyers are good. So there you go. There's my thoughts. Now, when you break this down into battleships, it definitely becomes a personal preference because I hate the Gneisenau. I think the Scharnhorst guns are terrible. At 11 inches, they're not good enough and consistent enough to do anything. Like I've already said, the Colorado's too slow. The Nagato's inaccurate as hell, or very temperamental. So is the Ashitaka. So where do you go? So it ends up being a personal preference. So I know a lot of these people out here are already saying, "What are you talking about? The Lion is fucking great." And I'm like, I don't give a shit. That thing is a fucking shotgun. And when you need to push in, that's not the boat you want to push in with. Thoughts?
So the Leon, I don't know. I have had freakishly good luck with that ship. Yeah. However, I agree with you. It's a shotgun. I've seen most people have just the absolute worst luck. Can never 30 games to grind through it. Never got the damn boat to work for him.
Yeah.
I like it. I definitely would have it in my top 3. Number 1, 100% agree with you, Sanop. It's the best one. It's going to, put people on its back and carry.
What makes it the best one?
It's thicker armor deck to help it counter the other battleships. So even the plunging fire from your ranged Japanese,
not even
it can
one simple
help
thing.
It out.
One simple thing
it's
I'm
angle
looking for here. Consistency.
Russian pen.
It's consistency.
True. It is very consistent with the shots.
Its consistency at 12 kilometers is so much better than anything else out there. There is no other choice, I think, for number 1.
So you don't think the Colorado? Now look and hold.
Yeah.
Work with me here. Look at the way everybody just played the ranked season with their battleships, bow in, slow rolling forward, slinging shots. It's got a better heel, I think, than any other battleship outside the British.
Right. And it got a buff
of that tier.
It got a
for nose in absorption, I would put it over the Ashitaka, and I hate the Colorado.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal with the Colorado. The Colorado's too slow to get in those positions to knock the shit out of people fast enough. Right? That's the only downside of the Colorado. Its guns are fantastic. It hits like a truck. It doesn't tank as well as some of the other ones. Because I mean, it just gets bow pinned all over the place. But it is a good, solid boat, but it's just too slow to get into those early positions to be effective, I think.
Okay. So counter to that one, rank spins also run smaller maps.
This is true.
Do you think that will lend well to it? Because the two things we're probably both comparing it to when I'm thinking about it, and I just had to, because I was just thinking like, yeah, that thing against Amagi, it's not going to face an Amagi.
No.
It's not going to face anything bigger.
It's going to face.
And it's going to have a smaller map.
Right.
So if with the smaller map, so it doesn't have the distance to travel, would you give it any more of a potential bump on the list?
I have a
With
sleeper.
reservation to still call it crap.
Right. Well, no, I mean, still comparing it to the cruisers, it's just too slow to escape. It's too slow otherwise. But if we're talking about just map position, yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
100% it'll be fine just for map position. But if you get into trouble and you need to start kiting, that's not the kiting boat, and you're pretty much you're pretty much dead. And so
Yes.
So what do you do? I mean, where do you go? In the end, guys, no matter what I say, no matter what Khreegor says, it's your own personal opinion. These are my opinions. These are his opinions, and I think that Tier 7 is a terrible, terrible tier. Of course, the last Tier 7 rank season we just had was right after the Belfast came out, and it took me 500 in games plus to get out of here. And I ranked out with a 49% win rate, dude. 49%, and that was the second season I ever ranked. And but that's besides the point. It was a very, very hard, rough season. So I'm very jaded against Tier 7 when it comes to battleships.
Show us where the Belfast touch you on the boat.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so moving on to cruisers. Like I said, these cruisers are the strongest thing at the tier. You can take any cruiser and do very well. Number one cruiser that I chose was Belfast, then the Helena, and then whatever else you wanted to pick. Sleeper picks, obviously, Atlanta, Flint, that kind of stuff.
Lazo. Yep.
Lazo is going to be really good, long range. I think flanking ships in this season are going to be a thing. As much as I don't like that Tier 7 French one, that's going to be a good one on the outside. If that guy goes to the off cap, with one destroyer and actually fights that other DD from the enemy team in that cap, it's going to be very effective. But majority of the time, what happens? They go into the outside. They never go attempt on the off cap. Because we're playing Trident, right? So Trident generally has an A cap and a B cap somewhere right in the middle, one on the left side of the island, one out in the middle of the open. And the majority of the people go either one way or the other. So take that fast French boat to the other side, where away from the rest of your team, and then help that DD cap that cap, and you'll be grossly effective. Just really stupid effective. Man.
So you're referring to the Algerie for the Tier 7 French, or are you implying if we have the destroyers by then?
No. I'm talking about the Algiers. Because we're not going to have the French DDs by tomorrow.
No.
And
God, I hope not. They are so not ready. Just like, here you guys go.
That's a whole nother story. But no. Belfast is going to be number one. Indianapolis is going to get played a lot because of 10-kilometer radar. Shores. What was that? What's that new Russian boat out there? We just said it, the Lazo.
The Lazo.
Lazo's going to get played. I mean, everything. You're going to see everything in the cruiser wise, and it's all going to be effective. Every bit of it's going to be effective. The York, with that buff that the York got, holy shit! That AP on the York now from range is so strong. It's so good. I mean, they're just good boats.
Yeah, that's the York. I would like to see it, make a comeback, because God knows, before that buff, that was probably the biggest pain point in that entire German cruiser line for me was the York.
The York was a definite hard thing, but then they finally started working on it and giving it a buff, and it's actually a really strong ship now, I think. Really, really strong ship now. But either way, guys, tell us what your picks are for cruisers and battleships. But now let's go into DDs. Now this is more in my realm here. My number one DD that's going to be played is the Sims, period, because of the experience buff that it gets. It's Captain Sabestar.
Yes.
Well, it used to be Captain Sabestar. We'll see how it affects this time around, because I know in the last season I wasn't saving shit in my DDs. And I had, though, get this. I had, in my Z52, I had 132,000 damage. I had 2 solo caps, and I had 3 kills, and I was third on my team on that loss. Third on my team for that loss. So let's see if this one's going to be all right. Sims is going to be number one.
So real quick on that one. The question we let off the show with, I want to change my answer.
All right.
If we could ask the dev to do one thing, I want, and this may make a few people, yak in their mouth a little bit, I want the experience system or type of system they run in World of Warplanes applied to ships. Your ship class is designed to do certain things, and when you do those, that's how you get your experience. So destroyers' primary experience would be vision and capping. Secondary experience would be based off of damage. So going out there and scouting, being a scout, which is what you're supposed to be, getting that vision is actually rewarded. That is the one thing I would ask them for.
All right. That's fair.
And apparently that is liked in chat too.
That's a fair statement. So the next section, obviously the Sims is going to be number one. I went Jervis and Gaja for number two. The reason I've taken the Jerv, and then number three would be the Hydia. All right. So the reason the reason I've taken these boats over the Hydia is that the Jervis can get that 360 turret going. So it has more potential damage than the Hydia does. As good as the Hydia is, I think the Jervis is just better. I think the Jervis, just pure gun damage, is just better because it can get that fifth and sixth gun on it, where the Hydia can't. You have to get that back gun for the Hydia. You have to go a little bit open, and that gives the opportunity for the Jervis to just beat the crap out of it. So I think the Jervis over the Hydia, and then sleeper pick here for me was the Z39. 6.1 kilometer detection range, 5 kilometer hydro. It's probably going to be the boat that I choose, although it does have the 150s and slow reload. That is the only downside to this boat. But if they're broadside and you use AP, you're going to knock the shit out of them. Not only that, but you're going to knock the shit out of cruisers that are sitting broadside too with the 150s.
Yeah. That 5 kilometer is going to be huge.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to get in, reveal the destroyers when they're sitting in their smoke,
pray that you're
and you don't have nearly as many radar to punish you for doing that.
Yeah. Pray that your cruisers are paying the fuck attention, because that's the biggest downside to Tier 7 is that you're not paying attention. They're worried about farming the battleships off in the back.
Yep. So for all you cruiser monkeys out there, if you've got a Z39 in your game, please, for the love of God, coordinate with them. Unless you're on the opposite team from me, and then feel free to ignore the shit.
Yeah, that's
out of
right.
them.
Ignore them. Exactly. Just don't even stop at the island. Just keep going there. Stay broadside, nice and slow. That's what you need to do if you're on the enemy team. All right, so there you go. There's my picks. Top pick for Battleship Sign Up. Top pick for I'm going to go with Belfast and Fiji Hydia. Those are Fiji and Helena. Those are my top three. That's all number one there because they're all three really solid. Also, top pick for DDs, the Sims, Jervis, and Hydia. Those three sleeper picks on each of them. Nelson, I think the Nelson's going to surprise people, although it does not tank very good. Those guns are phenomenal. The sleeper pick doesn't matter for cruisers, but Z39 for the Bliss. There's some boats at Tier 7 that are just terrible now. The Minsk is awful. The Bliss is awful. The Leningrad is better than the Minsk, but it still doesn't really fit for ranked. There's some more. What are the other DDs out there? Doesn't matter. The Mayhan, it's just the at 6.4 kilometer detection. It struggles. It's good up close, but it's
hard rides that struggle bus.
It's a struggle bus, and I think out of all the boats that are in the game, the Bliss needs the most love right now for premiums.
Yeah, the Whiskey Pizza definitely needs something.
The mass out there has the detection's too high to make it be effective. But anyway, there's my 2 cents. Well, I'm interested in what you guys think. What are your top 3 picks? Give me one pick: Battleship, Cruiser, Destroyer. Put that in the chat, and we'll get to those here in a little while. All right. So, what do you think about the rank sprint? I like rank sprints. I think they're fun. Yes. It's a nice thing. This is going to be great. You're going to be able to div up with somebody, and maybe you have a bad game, but then they can carry you through. Fine. Picking a team together. This is something that I haven't talked about on the show, or on the show there at twitch.tv/ServantMIK, or in any videos about picking the proper teammate, picking the proper boats to go together. This is something that that a lot of people will just be like, oh, this boat's going to be great. Okay, well, what are you going to fucking play with it? What are you going to play with it? All right, I'm going to pick this particular boat. What are you going to fucking play with me? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things. Like now, my guy Fitz, probably Fitz and your mom, is going to be my guy that we play with through the first season, and he'll probably be the sign up, and I'll probably be some kind of destroyer so I can control caps and everything. But what are you going to do? What what are you going to do? Not necessarily who you're playing with. That doesn't really matter at this point. But if you're going to choose one boat, what boat would you like to have playing with you?
I've done a troll sprint season where it was me and Cammy Samurai paired up.
Yeah.
He had his Fuso. I was rocking a cruiser, and it was fun to blow through things. But I'll probably stick with my cruiser battleship flex, and then if I can talk him into doing it again, one of my regulars, Kiowa mechanic, super cool dude. He loves battleship destroyer. So if I'm struggling in cruiser, he can drop into destroyer. I'll pick up the battleship. If he's having a hard time in destroyers, I can drop to the cruiser. We've got that flexibility that works, and I think that's the biggest thing when you're picking a teammate. 2 cruiser monkeys together will not do well. 2 destroyer monkeys will not really do well because you're going to stay paired up, which means all you're going to be on one side. Or if you're double destroyer, you have to split to go scout the 2 caps. You can't back each other now. So I think the biggest thing is proper pairing. Find 2 ships that you play well. Find somebody that plays one of those ships and the one you don't play well, so that you can always keep a balance in the team.
Yeah. I think supporting each other is a big deal because I know I played with Fitz. I played with a guy named Harold over on the EU server. We lost our first 3 games playing together. Then I swapped over to I swapped over from DD and playing a battleship, and I played the Arizona. Played the Arizona, and absolutely from that we didn't lose. We won 13 games in a row and ranked out. It all depends on your deal. Are you making the shots? And these guys were just giving me the easy shots, and I took them, and we obliterated the cruisers. And I think that's what you need, man. You need somebody that's willing to help support you, that will shoot at whatever counterpart that you need to shoot at. Because I can guarantee you on Trident that Belfast is going to go on that off cap and sit up underneath that island. And that's all he's going to do the entire game. And he's just going to radar you. So you're going to lose at least one half of the board just based on the positioning of the enemy Belfast and his radar.
Yeah. So, which, honestly, I hope the Belfast does it. I hope he hugs an island. I hope he just sits there and plays radar monkey, because that is one less ship I have to deal with until the end. Unless he's on my team, at which point there'll be a lot of salt flowing through my brain.
This is also that reason right there is also why I think the Belfast, the more I play it, the more overrated it is. It's very strong.
But on that same note, how many do you think we're really gonna see? With how long it has been out of the game,
we're gonna see them every game. I guarantee
you. Think so?
I think that we will, out of 10 games, I think we'll see 8 out of 10. 8 Belfast.
See, I would go
10.
so far as to say 5 out of 10, because some of the old school guys, just for that nostalgic feel of that one ranked season where Belfast just, you get 3 or 4 Belfast per team, will bring it out, and then they're going to realize it has actually overtime and power crap. The Synop's going to slap it off the map. Anybody worth their salt who can smoke fire with the Leon, once they close that 12-kilometer gap, get into the 9-10 range, is just going to obliterate them off the map, because you can't sit and fire from smoke. You're not a destroyer. You have a much bigger target inside that smoke. It is so much easier to hit that tubby girl, that big British booty.
I think it goes even further than that. It's like, how useful is it for the team? This is where I find it overrated. How useful is it for the team? Without its radar, it's pretty shit. Without its radar being up, it's pretty shit. Simple as that. Because then what happens? What happens, Khreegor? Without that radar, what do you need? You need people to spot for you. If your team is unwilling to spot for you, or you lose the DD early, you're fucked. Now you have to rely on the battleships to tank and spot at the same time for you to get damaged. So I find the Belfast very, very, very overrated in today's world. in this game. Now, back in the day when it first came out, oh god, it was strong. It was real strong. But if you play if you play around it, if you were going to play a Belfast and you have a DD out there and your DD is just very patient and doesn't go get stupid and do things this way and that way, that Belfast is going to have a hell of a fucking game.
Yeah, the hard part with that for the destroyer specifically goes back to the idea of change the way we assign experience. Most DDs won't sit back and play patient. They want to get in there. They want to brawl. They want to get their damage numbers up because they know if the team loses, that's the only way they're going to save a star. And honestly, on that note, it's been an unpopular opinion, and I've posted it in the CC Discord every time ranked season comes around. I want to see save a star removed, and number one on the winning team get 2 stars. Because you know what? If you are carrying your ass off and bring your team into victory, awesome. But you know what? If your team's on the back foot and you get that asshole, Henri, who's just running, it's easy about to pick on, trying to farm up his 250k damage so he gets to save a star and be absolutely useless to the team. Sorry, Puddin' Pop. Just like the rest of the team, you didn't want to play for the win. You don't get the star. Welcome to the lower bracket again. Try again.
Yeah, I don't mind the save a star program because there's a lot of times where I bust my ass and I earn my save, and there's a lot of times where like Conqueror was pretty brain dead this season. There's a lot of times where I don't feel like I should have kept my star, but I did, just based on setting 2 and 3 fires in a deal. But I don't mind the save a star program. I think that they need to have it, but maybe they.
How many people on those games do you think were more focused on trying to get the damage numbers so that in the off chance you lost, they didn't have to worry about it and weren't really getting in there to try and get the win?
I think that's just the nature of the beast, though. I honestly think that that's just the nature of the beast. In this mentality of me, we were having this conversation earlier today about selfish play. And only going for damage and only going for fucking leaderboards. I think that that's a fundamental flaw with the way that people play this game, and it's a mental breakdown of the player base. I want to do this because I have to be the best, and I have to get my PR rating up. I have to get my damage up there. I have to be number one on the board. It's a very selfish play style, and that's running rampant through a lot of the people. Super Purple Unicorns. I don't care if you have a 70% win rate. Those games that I'm playing with you, and you're out there farming damage, and I'm busting my ass to try to get these caps. Fuck you. That's what I say. Fuck you. Fuck your damage. Fuck your stats. Let's go play for the fucking win. Let's go win this game. Because then everybody gets a fucking star. Yep. Everybody gets a star. Let's not play for that. So that's why it drives me nuts when I sit there and have this conversation with people that are like, well, that's one way to play the game. Well, no, that's the fucking way. That's the point of this fucking game is to win. So play to fucking win. Play the fucking objective. Play around the objective. And then if you farm your damage then fine, but play to fucking win. That's a big mental disconnect between these higher up, these very arrogant, selfish players versus somebody down to earth that'll sit there and go in there and sacrifice their battleship, sacrifice their boat to pause a push or to kite out a push and just to counter the rest of the game. It's a very I think that the Super Purple Unicorn players that have this mentality are bad for the game.
Yeah, 100%. I've told people before, they're like, I just play for fun. I'm like, cool. What you need to do on the drop down is change it to show co-op and pick it. But that's not fun to me. Well, what's fun to you? Is shooting the other boats fun to you? Because you're going to do that in there. Well, want to play against other people, it's a challenge. But if you don't want to win, how is it a challenge? And I'll argue them into circles. I'm like, you're not winning.
I mean,
you're saying exactly what I'm telling you. You just don't want to say it also.
I want to play. I want to have fun in this game, and I do have a lot of fun in this game, but winning is fun to me. So play for the fucking win. Don't fuck up my fun. You don't want me to fuck up your fun? Don't fuck up my fun. I don't mind that you get this damage, but if we lose the game because you're way out in the middle of nowhere farming fucking damage instead of pushing this cap when we need a cap to win, I'm sorry, but you're a terrible person. You're a terrible person. You're a terrible player, and you're very selfish, and I don't want to play with you. I want somebody that is willing to go into these caps and play the objective. A little bit, just an example here. I know it's all situational, and there's things that happen in the game that you really can't control, or a situation gets out of hand really quick, and you have to like change up and be flexible. if you cap a cap early and you have somebody lose, you can sit on that one cap or two caps and gain points and stay in the game. But if you refuse to go in there and cap and they get all three caps and you're out there farming damage, you lose immediately because they are ticking up points, ticking up points, ticking up points. So if you play for those objectives, you can keep your team into a game even though you might have a shitty player on your team that's doing nothing or died early. You can keep your team in the game. So that a lot of people are out there saying, oh, I just got to play for my fucking damage and blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't want to fucking play with you. And I think you're a terrible person and a terrible player. I don't care what your stats are. That's the wrong mentality for this game.
Yeah. We have enough purple fucking unicorns. We don't need any more.
And not only that, but 90% of those purple unicorns are the arrogant motherfuckers I've ever met, dude. The most arrogant and most selfish players I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it drives me crazy when they're like, well, that's one way to play the game. And I'm like, fuck you, dude. Fuck you. You're a piece of trash.
Yep.
Fuck your stats.
Like, why not try to win?
Fuck your stats. Well, I mean, and then there's the counter argument. Well, I can get in a div with my people and we can win the game in 5 minutes. I'm like, good, win the fucking game in 5 minutes. You fucking played to win. Playing for your fucking damage and playing for all this other stuff does absolutely zero for the team, and it does stuff for you only. And I'm sorry, but it's a very selfish way to play, and I can't stand those people.
Yep. I've asked them before, why don't you grab your other people? They come, let me ride your purple unicorn ass to victory, because clearly you're that good you can carry the whole team. Let's go.
Anyway, we got off of ranked sprints. very, very,
Kinda.
very. We went on this long tangent, but I mean, it kind of ties back into that Save a Star program. I don't have a problem with that. I think that a lot of this is solved. A lot of the Save a Star going away is solved if they actually fix the experience gain. The last Tier 7 season was the last time DDs actually were able to save. Because of the Sims, you were actually able to save. So what did they do? They fixed the experience gain on the caps, right? And then they never ran a Tier 7 season again. So they fixed it and nerfed everybody else instead of fixing the Sims experience gain where it should have been. They nerfed every other DD's chances for the remaining seasons. Until this next Tier 7 season comes down. So that's very short-sighted. So now it became to get experience, you need to do this damage instead of playing the objectives. So it pushed those people, the super purple unicorns, into that mode. Well, only way I'm going to save my star now, or only way I'm going to do this thing is to play for fucking damage. So the game perpetuated that selfish mentality.
Yeah.
So, how's it going to be this time with the Sims, and the experience gained based on caps? I think that caps need to be double rewarded. I think that caps, spotting, and tanking damage need to be shot through the roof, and priority from damage needs to come down, and experience from damage needs to come down. That'll solve a lot of this problem. These people, you can go get your damage, but you're not going to get rewarded as much for it anymore. And that, yep. I think that solves a lot of the problems, and all these super purple unicorns are going to have to rethink how they fucking play the game.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're good players, and so they'll adapt to it, and they'll be just fine.
Yeah, like I said, I'd love to see them adopt that experience system. I've asked for that. Hell, I think day 3 as CC, I put that up. I said the 2 things I'd like to see change, just going to throw my ideas. 1, please adopt this experience system. 2, please, for the love of God, adopt this div system.
Yeah.
Instead, they went to something completely freaking different. I was like, okay, this is just horrible.
Now, I'm not sitting there saying take all of the experience away, but just lower it a little bit. Like I don't know what the experience per damage tick is. I understand it's percent damage, so if you shoot DDs, your 10% on DD is worth more than a 10% on a battleship. I understand that. But I think that they need to retool it a little bit. I don't care if you're a gunboat DD or whatever, but you can play around and you can do things versus the other DDs and still get your experience and shit. And plus you're spotting the whole entire fucking time that you're out there on the edge anyway. So you're going to get bonus. So what you lose in this one you pick up on the other side. So it all will end up being a wash. I just don't like seeing it damage focus because that puts different priorities on the game instead of rewarding what they should be rewarding, spotting, tanking, capping, objective-based play, defends. I think, but anyway, I digress. But I agree with you. They definitely need to look at the way experience is gained in this game, and to make it fair for everybody.
I don't think experience based off damage should be reduced. I think they should assign you get that bonus based off what you're shooting. So battleships should be other battleships and cruisers, you're going to get more. Cruisers should be other cruisers, and destroyers, you should be getting more. Destroyers would be battleships and other destroyers. You're going to get more. But they get a bonus for capping and spotting. So destroyers that are out there, trying to chase down cruisers while it's all haha fun and games, it's like, why? As soon as that thing turns and decides you're annoying, you just threw your life away because he's going to slap you off the map. However, torpedoing that battleship, who now has been neutered against you, or going after that destroyer and chasing him out of the cap, that was helpful for your team. That's going to help your team win.
Exactly. I mean, that's actually really good. But there's one problem, though. I mean, everybody wants more experience for. I want to be, supporting DD and this and that and the other thing. I want to help these guys out. Therein lies the problem of how do you reward intentions? How can you read intentions? I fat finger a smoke. This battleship slow rolls into it and depth strikes somebody. Should I be rewarded for that? I'm every damage that he does while he's sitting in my smoke ring. I mean, that you can't read people's intentions, and the AI is not smart enough to read people's intentions on what they're doing. And so they're not able to do that. But I would like to see a more supporty style play. I would like to see more, instead of being out there on the edge the whole time, maybe you come up and you fight around the B cap. I mean, I don't know how many times on that north map or whatever it is where it's A, B on one side, D on the other, and C's right in the middle, and nobody goes to the middle of the board. They all push to the outside, and it's been that way forever.
You can't read intentions, but hey, if the battleship, gets bonus because he's not within 5 kilometers of the cap, awesome. Or a friendly owned cap. Right. Great. That's going to teach the battleships. Stop trying to camp in A and shoot into C.
Yeah.
Get out on the edges and start firing. Get some crossfire.
Yeah.
Cruisers, give me a bonus if I'm 5 to 12 kilometers from a cap, because that means I'm up there supporting my damn destroyers where I should be. Putting up that AA wall that the CB has to fly through before he can get to my battleship and back. Mm-hmm. It triple citadel you off the map because some asshole thought AP bombs was a smart idea. Sorry, that's a whole tangent that I will go off on for an hour.
That's a mistake. I tend to agree with you. They're not there. They should not be in the game. Also, the rockets are a little bit broken, but that's besides the point. All right, guys. The last little comments on ranked sprints here. You go for it, man.
I'm 100% excited for it. I think ranked sprints are better than standard ranked. I loved them when they first introduced them. I wish we got them more often, and the regular ranked season less.
I'm excited for just being able to develop. I want to div up because I enjoy the rank season. I enjoy being able to experience that rank season and us go together, holding hands, skipping down the highway of those stars. That's what I want to do. I think rank season should never be solo anymore and should always go to divisions. It's so much more fun. It's so much more relaxed, and you have a better time. When you're solo, all you're doing is bitching and moaning at the people doing stupid shit, and that's very frustrating.
Yeah, give me one person I can count on. Just one. I don't ask for much.
There you go. All right, moving on into the next one. We got a little event going on right now. If you guys haven't seen it, the Rogue Wave event. Now, Khreegor, you said you hadn't participated too much in this event, but I have.
Not a whole lot. From what I have. Okay, so here's what I would change. I'll be honest. I don't like it. It's all it is just a reskin of April Fool's. And it's, fucking World of Fortnite. It's a goddamn battle royale. Sweet Jesus, can we stop riding that dead horse?
Nah.
But to enjoy it, the change I would have liked to have seen is each 3-man team is a different boat type. So one destroyer, one battleship, one cruiser gets paired up.
I absolutely adore this game mode. I think this is probably the best game mode that they've ever put out. Now, I love their events. I think their events are fantastic, and they do a very good job. I love this event because it takes away 90% of the fucking RNG in this game. It takes it away, and it becomes my skill in maneuvering and predicting your torpedoes versus you. And if you guys are going to play these things, grind it out to the 3-star boats before you stop playing, before you start bitching about this game. Grind it out to those 3-star events or 3-star boats, and play those 3-star boats, because those are so much better than the tier 1s. And a lot of people are playing 2 or 3 games in the tier 1. This game mode sucks. Those boats are terrible compared to the tier 3 stars or the 3-star boats. All right, so wait, and it's my skill versus you, my strategery versus your strategery, and your positioning on the board. That is all 100% you, and not on that fucking game. I'm gonna shoot this guy. You can't shoot your fucking guns except for one line of boats. That's the Atomic Rage boat. So now it becomes you versus that other guy. Hey, I'm turning inside this guy. Oh shit, he's gonna die. Oh, hit the brakes. Oh, we dodged. Up, he's dead. So much better than any of the other events that they've ever put out there, because it's a skill-based gameplay as opposed to all the RNG bullshit in this thing.
So yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I had a ton of fun when they did it for the April Fool's one. I've always enjoyed the torpedo jousting, but it's just a reskin of it again.
Yeah.
Why don't we do something? I mean, they did change it a bit by doing the BR style.
Yeah.
But I still think it would have been fun for a BR to give me one of each boat.
Well, they did that. They did that in the Halloween event, and I wasn't a big fan of that, because I was still subject to 90% RNG, and it sucked. And I played it 4 or 5 times and was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. Let's go do something else. And I went back to randoms very quickly after that Halloween event went over. When the last time they did it, that filth grind. But this one is just right up my alley. I am going to outskill you. I am going to outplay you. My boat is better than your boat, and I know what this boat's capable of, and I know what I can do in it. And I think in the strategy, do I go for the heel now? Do I go plant myself in the final circle? Do I go attack these guys? That is all strategy. That is all you versus that enemy, and I absolutely adore it. Absolutely adore it. So give me more of this shit. And it's so easy. The people were on Twitter were bitching and moaning about the credit grind. If you flag this thing up, ram flag, speed flag, heel flag, and then put on some economy flags out there, I'm getting 300,000 credits a game, up to 500,000 credits a game, every game. And you play 10 to 15 games just like that, you can gain massive gains, dude. It took us 30, what's that, 50 games. 30. We went 32 and 18 the second day, and we ground all through the credits, 50 games. Boom, done. 50 games, that's it. That's all you got to do. You got to win some.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's literally all you have to do. Not to mention you're going to gain experience. You're going to gain commander bonus elite experience, because they're all 19-point captains. You're going to finish up challenges. And you do these challenges, guess what you get? The Benham, which is one of the most strongest boats that they've put out so far this year. And it's ridiculously good.
Yeah. I think it's worth doing the grind for it. If you're a destroyer player, you would be doing yourself a disservice if you did not try and get to that Benham.
Yep.
Grind as much as you can. The credits, everything else, totally worth it. That boat, just an amazing boat.
Yep. And it's all a matter of you actually putting forth the effort to do it. Don't even judge this thing until you get to the tier 3 boats or the 3-star boats, whatever you guys want to call them. Don't even judge this game. The Rumble is my choice. The Rumble is so maneuverable. It's so much better than the Stealthito. It's so much better than the Kebab, because it just has the maneuverability to get inside people and outside of people. I love this thing. I think that's probably the best boat that they've ever done. And actually, the Rumble is the tier 10 equivalent of the Khreegor, which is the French DD, which is they needed a 9th one to put in there, so they chose that one. So it's actually not bad. I really enjoy it.
Don't forget, folks, you have an S key in that match. Holy Christ. Yeah. Every match I did play, nobody ever hit their brakes.
Yep. Hit that brake, dude. All right, so here's what. What do you guys think of it? What do you guys think so far of what we've talked about so far on the podcast? We got a little bit more left to go, and we all still have a ship spotlight. Mr. Khreegor has chosen a ship for us that he would like to spotlight, either good or bad, doesn't matter. and we will talk about that. And I would like to get your guys' thoughts on that particular boat as well. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead and put them into the chat now, and we will get to those here after we're done with our main topics. I am Sir Venom IK. You guys can hit me up right here on this channel, twitch.tv/Sir Venom IK, or you guys can hit me up over on the Twitters at Sir_Venom_IK. My man Khreegor here is joining us today, twitch.tv/Khreegor, and at _Khreegor. He is the Khreegor.
The main one, the only one you should care about.
Yup.
The other one is just an imposter.
I want you to know, Khreegor, I'm sitting on 1.3 million Elite Commander experience from these events. 1.3 million. And don't get me wrong, we've played a lot, and I've played 10 hours the first day that it came out to unlock all the boats, and then 8 hours the second day just to finish out all that credit grind. It was easy. It was easy.
You're a madman.
Well, I mean, you know me. If I have an objective, I'm going to go do it. And yep. My man Revan Fitz. I think we would have runs that we would win 7-8 games in a row, and then we would lose one. Then we would win 5-6 games in a row coming back from it. It's all about, are you making a mistake? If I'm not making any mistakes, we tend to win. If we're all not making mistakes, we tend to win. And we've taken people that are brand new in Tier 1 boats and pushed them all the way to the end. And it's so great. I think my highest kill as a division, we've killed all 12 people, or all 9 other people as the division.
Very nice.
My high kill is 6 kills myself, and I think I had like 130,000 damage.
Woo.
That's my high. What do you guys highs and shit? Let me know about that. Dude, I had 3 rams in one game yesterday.
Damn. Yeah, I heard you can ram, and like the ram mechanics kind of funky.
The ram
mechanics, it's just in me to always avoid a ram. So
the ram mechanics are a little weird, right? So I've hit people and not taken any damage, and I've hit people and I've been dead even with a ram flag on, and I've hit people and I've grinded them down and killed them. So and here's the one other thing is that all the ramming damage is healable here. So as long as you got a heal, you're going to be able to go for it. Why not ram them, some bitch? Because I've rammed out some pretty heavy-duty boats early on in the game just because they aren't paying attention. I was like, okay, you're dead. Boom. And then I survive, and we end up winning the game because I don't have to deal with that heavy-duty boat later on. But
yeah, I don't know. It's still the concept of ramming someone on purpose in a destroyer.
It's funny.
I would probably do it if I were lower on health, but with my luck, I'd ram the island and sink.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I think that the island clipping under the water was a little broken still because they're reaching out quite a bit. They weren't really shaved off underneath. I think that's an issue. But overall, I think the game mode is beautiful. I've had so much fun playing this thing, man.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't want to discourage them from bringing new game modes. I don't know.
I think
selling it like a new idea when it's just a slight tweak of an old idea,
right? Well, I mean, they took two game modes and they kind of combined them together. They took the BR from the Halloween event that we had, that filth grind, and then they took the torpedo dodge mechanics of the last space event and they put them together. And I think the world looks amazing. I think the boats look great.
Okay, yeah, they're map folks.
Yeah,
hats off to those guys.
Absolutely.
Man. They did beauty.
The world looks amazing. The port looks fantastic. The boats, the way that they all look the same, unfortunately, but that one model that they've skinned on everything looks really, really good. It's a really, really good looking boats.
Yeah, I think they could have done some more with that one. There's so much inspiration you pull from a Mad Max style theme that they were going with. It looks like.
Where's the people? Well, I would like to have seen people on the front of the boats, just hanging there. But that in some countries that wouldn't be kosher because different laws or whatever. But how in Mad Max, they had the people sitting on front of the cars as they're driving around, like punishing them and shit. I thought that would have been cool.
War Boys.
Yeah. But overall, it's a really good game mode. I'd like to get your guys' opinion out there before we move on. All right. Go out there and play it. Enjoy it for what it is. And actually grind out to the 3-star boats before you make a decision because those are some very, very good things in that game mode. All right. Moving on. Moving on. It's time for our ship spotlight, Mr. Khreegor. Before you agreed here, I asked you to choose a boat that you would like to spotlight. Whether you like the boat or you dislike the boat, what is your boat, sir?
I'm going with Helena or Helena.
Okay.
Depending on how you want to say it, which part of the country you're from. They all say it different.
Mm-hmm.
That would be mine. Love the boat. I've loved it since it came out. Just a crap ton of fun. It really fits well into the U.S. light cruiser line. She's one of my decompressed boats. When I'm like, I've had some shitty games. She's a go-to for me.
This is a Tier 7 American cruiser with 15 guns on it at 152s, I believe. Or
yes.
152s, and they fire. How fast do they fire? Every 8 seconds, 10 seconds?
7.5 or it's 8.
I don't remember. Anyway, relatively fast, relatively high HE fire chance. You also have IFHE is on this boat, and you're going to have some high alpha as well as a high fire chance. This is, in my opinion, I think this is one of the picks that I have at Tier 7 for the rank sprint that's going to be mostly played. It's so strong. Mm-hmm. It's just so strong, and I can't tout on this boat enough at how good it is as an island humper. If you need to go open water with it, the range is relatively short on it. 15 kilometers, I believe, somewhere around there. And it's relatively short, but if you're playing at Tier 7, it's just fine. It's just fine.
She is stupendously accurate when it comes to hunting destroyers. Which is where I think she is my number one go-to pick for the rank sprints if you're looking at tech tree ships. Mm-hmm. So if you don't want to bust out and be one of the wallet warriors, mm-hmm. you need a go-to ship right there.
Yep.
That would be the one I would say should be your go-to pick.
Some of the line ships are very, very solid. The Fiji, the Shores, those are really, yep. really, really solid boats. On the other side of that, any negativities about the Helena?
No, actually. So a lot of people gripe about her softness or her squishiness, but it's like if you're going up the light cruiser line in U.S., she's gonna be the first one that will teach you what you need to expect for the Seattle and the Worcester and what's gonna happen when you're playing them.
All right, so 8.5 second reload on the Helena with 15 guns.
8.5. Okay,
it's fantastic. I find that these light cruisers are more tanky than the heavy cruiser counterparts. The Pensacola and the New Orleans are very squishy. You see the broadside of those, you're gonna obliterate them. Indianapolis is in the same boat. As for the light cruisers, the Dallas and the Helena, and moving forward that way, if you go broadside in those things, they're probably going to overpin you before they citadel you. And I find that you get punished less for mistakes in the light cruiser line than you do in the heavy cruiser line. The heavy cruiser line, just by the name alone, you would think that it would be heavier armor. It's like I dominate Demonis at Tier 10, but Worcesters, I can't barely do anything to them. So it's really interesting the dynamic here between heavy and light cruiser, and Helena is no joke when it comes to tanking and taking shots, taking damage. It's just really good overall.
Yeah, if you can learn how to what I refer to as bow dance with her, you are going to smash people in a Seattle and a Worcester. Mm-hmm. And when I refer to bow dancing, I learned it early on. Bow in slight angle at a battleship, and most of them are going to think you're a moron and that you're going to try and nose tank them. And then right when you see that shell come out, slam your brakes, hard turn it, and go broadside.
Yep.
They're aiming high to go for your superstructure and pin all the way through your ship.
Absolutely.
So when you spin sideways, it's going through your stack, right out the handrail on the other side, nothing but overpins for days. You're just laughing the entire time because they just wasted that volley, and now I'm going to get at least 8 or 9 more off, lighting them on fire before anything else happens.
Or you auto bounce. I tell you, I rolled around on a Baltimore. This is back in an Alsace when I was playing through that line. Rolled around, bow up from 1 kilometer. I bounced 11 shells from 1 kilometer, all because of auto bounce angle. I think it's a stupid mechanic personally, because that's 15-inch guns going at the bow of this stupid cruiser from 1 kilometer.
Yeah, it should peel it open like a sardine can.
Rip it in half. But because he was on auto bounce angle, He ended up didn't take any damage at all whatsoever, and I was so pissed. I was like, holy shit, 15-inch guns suck. But that's another story. All right, guys, we're going to go into the Q&A session here in just a minute. What do you guys think of the Helena? I fucking love it. I think it's great. Unfortunately enough for me that when they did that split, I already had everything. So all I had to do was I had to replay the Cleveland because I barely had played it and I just didn't have any experience on it. So I had to replay the Cleveland and then wear it to the Seattle, which I couldn't stand, and then to the Worcester, which is phenomenal. I saw that look. Ask the question. I know you wanted to ask why. Why did you not stand the Seattle? It was a very hit or miss boat for me. I had one game that I would set 19 fires, then the next game I could only set one fire. It was so sporadic and there was no consistency with the boat. I would do 40,000 damage or I'd do 140,000. Same thing with the Amagi, and same thing, just these inconsistencies between the games. And I would, play at tier 10 and we would sit behind an island and I would hump over and I'm like, come on, guys. And I think a lot of people when I was playing through that understood about how frustrated I get with RNG in this game because it's either feast or famine for me. There is no middle ground in this game for me. It is feast or famine. So some of these boats, I like, of course, you're talking to the guy who has on record, has a video, 150 hits in a Worcester, all HE with one fire throughout a whole entire game. So, and
I have seen it.
And I have survived the entire game. So, I mean, it's not like I was just, you 150 hits, you weren't in range of anything for the rest of that game. And I'm like, no, motherfucker, I was there the entire time doing things, and it just one fire. I mean, it just like I said, man, it's either feast or famine.
Yeah.
All right. So, any more last minute thoughts on the Helena before we move on to the Q&A session here?
Everybody needs it. Everybody should play it. It will light cruiser train you for every other light cruiser that ever comes in. She is a great trainer boat.
All right, boys. Let's go into the question and answering portion right now. For the next couple of minutes here, what we will do is that we will take questions, comments, and concerns from the audience here at twitch.tv/SirVenomIK. And if you guys are over on the YouTube channel, you guys leave comment section leave it in the comment section below, and I will get to those. I will get to those questions as soon as I possibly can.
Hey, Sir Venom, where can we find you on YouTube?
Oh, that's youtube.com/SirVenomIK. If you guys are in the chat right there, boom, there it is.
Boom.
Maybe. Come on, give it to me. YouTube, there you go. youtube.com/SirVenomIK. That's where we got it. So, Mr. Khreegor, tell them about yourself real quick. Tell them where they can find you before we go into the Q&A session. Tell them about your schedule, what you got going on. Promote yourself.
Yep. So you guys can find me over on twitch.tv/khreegor, or as he said, over on the Twitter at @the_khreegor. My schedule, I stream every day of the week except for Thursdays. Thursday's my only night off. You can catch me on my channel Sunday through Wednesday. Warships are Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We have the What the Fuck Ever Wednesday, and then Decompression Saturdays. It's whatever I feel like playing at that point. Not always Warships. Sometimes it is. Just really depends on the mood. If any of you folks out there are going to be at PAX Prime, I'm not calling it PAX West and kiss my ass. I don't care if they rebranded it. You can catch me there. Or for anybody making the Turn of Joy in Seattle in September, yours truly will be one of the CCs that will be there with stickers and who knows, maybe some other goodies to pass out.
There you go, guys. Turn of Joy is in September. You guys can check out the website, worldofwarships.com or .net, whatever it is. Go find it. You guys can Google it to figure out those dates. I know I have plans to be at the USS Texas and the USS Lexington in October and in December. So there's that. And if anybody's going to TwitchCon in September, you guys come up, man. Look, check this out, bros. I got stickers. Not only that, I got stickers, but I also have a bag full of buttons that I'm going to give away. So if you guys want any of that stuff, that you guys just show up and I'll give it to you. I might even have my hat here that you guys can sign my hat like we did last year if anybody showed up. So there it is, boys. If y'all are going to be at any of these places, man, y'all guys are more than welcome to join us. All right, sir. Are you ready for the Q&A session?
I am ready for the Q and all of the A.
Oh yeah, you love with the A, right? All right,
Gotta
boys.
love the A.
Here we go. Also, one says two things here. He says, "Can we spend some time properly balancing ships, going along with your instead of putting out ships? How about we balance some?
Mm-hmm.
Also, about how about adding a submarine or two to the game? No, flat no. I don't think that we had an event during Halloween that introduced the concept of subs to this game. And I think that subs were really good in that event, but they have zero place in the main game. They have zero place. It would put in this world you're trying to balance battleships and destroyers and cruisers on this three-prong deal. Then you throw a fourth one in there with CVs. Now you're trying to add it this way. And then now this thing's getting stronger and it's just one big weighty balance on all these different points. Now you're going to add a fifth point in there. It's going to be even much harder to balance the game this way. It's such a hard thing, and I don't think submarines have any business in this game at the moment.
No, hell no. Let's get CVs in a decent place before we worry about adding in water hot dogs.
Let's see what else. What else do we have? Clayhole. It says the hot ticket and moneymaker. Why reward skill when you can fire from behind an island with impunity, set fires the whole time, and cause a ton of damage? This is talking about the Smolensk and the Colbert.
Yep.
What do you think? I think that depending on your camera went all fuzzy. Depending on how they introduce these ships, are they going to be steel ships? Are they going to be coal ships? Free XP ships? I think it makes a difference. If it's going to be a steel ship, make these both steel. Make people fucking earn them. Then you won't see them for very much. You won't see a lot of them early. You will see them eventually, but you won't see a lot of them early. If they do it free XP, it's going to be there all the time. If they do it for coal, it's going to be there immediately, and it's going to be a lot. And it's going to have a really heavy impact on these games. It all depends on how they introduce them. I think that stick them in the steel and make people earn them shits.
Yes. If they have to come in, my opinion, don't put them in at all.
Right.
But if they have to come in, put them in steel ships. And then people are going to sit there and complain about the purple unicorns or poople unicorns, however you want to call it. Mm-hmm. The purple poopers. But you know what? Who cares? Go play rank. You'll get it eventually as well.
Go play clan battles.
Stop getting a free hand-me-down.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you. That's the tech trees for.
Yeah. Jimmy Tank says, I feel like the balance is there to counter HE fire meta. The problem is it requires teamwork and coordination, both of which are typically absent in random battles. I feel that the HE fire meta is uncounterable by team play. The only thing that you can do is kill the enemy, and that's the only counter to it right now. I completely disagree with that statement. What do you think?
I can see where it has merit. If you could get your team to focus fire those hard spammers, it would make a difference. But that requires you to get your team to work as a team to, as you put it, kill that ship. Mm-hmm. So I don't think we see enough people properly identifying targets.
This is a thing as well.
People see the giant HP Pinata and the Yamato, the Kreml, the Colorado. Yes, the battleship will slap you off the map. But that Atlanta who just exposed himself and he's trying to freewheel across the islands, that's the one that needs to be shot. He's going to do more to your team quicker than the other ones.
Yeah, battleship's priority number one should be destroyers first. And then after that, there's a mechanic in Dungeons and Dragons that I know you'll be familiar with. It's called an attack of opportunity. When you have this broadside cruiser and you got a DD up here and that DD's full health, fucking eliminate that cruiser. Eliminate that cruiser. That should be your number one priority. Get that big bop of damage on him because he's going to do more in the long run. Now, obviously, that's purely situational at best, and you guys have to pick and choose what you shoot at. But that is experience. Experience is going to dictate this whole thing. Experience is probably going to tell that person to keep shooting the battleship. But if you get rid of the DDs and you get rid of the cruisers and you get rid of the cruisers when you have an opportunity to do it, your game, you're going to have much more fun. You're going to win more games taking those opportunity shots.
Well, and I don't think people give cruisers enough credit. So, yeah, CVs are a pain in the ass. They get spot part of your map. Who cares? The cruiser is the one that's going to shred your destroyer as soon as he gets within range. The cruiser is the one that's going to burn down your battleship. Your cruiser is the one with the quicker speed that if he survives the late game, you can still go back and re-grab points for your team or to screw your team over if they're on the other side. People ignore them too often unless they're broadside. Mm-hmm. We got soft noses, people. Yep. You punch us through the nose.
Some of them do.
You know, with anything, it hurts. When we pop our repair, we don't have a giant health pool to sit and let the fires re-tick through. And a cruiser can't let one fire sit. We got to repair on one most of the time. Yep. Get those fires on the cruisers, and you'll have a bigger impact on your game than lighting 2 fires in a Yamato and giggling because you see smoke.
All right. Timmy G says, I've said this before, but fire should only burn relevant to your ship's hit points and do not do the same damage when your ship has 100K and when your ship has 20,000.
I can see it. A diminishing return. We kind of talked about that earlier. For damage saturation, there's less flammable materials left on board.
I agree with that as well. Balance is there, but a lack of vision by the devs to actually tweak it and make it right. I think that when they put something out there, I think that the devs and something that has always bothered me is that, and you see it in the chats when we have an issue. Well, the spreadsheet says this, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck your spreadsheet. A lot of the times, numbers are one thing, but in actual reality, it's totally completely different than what the stats say. You look at for example, just a minor example, the Yu Yang. The Yu Yang spreadsheet was way higher than the gearing. And so they nerfed the Yu Yang. But then what did they do? They put out the Kitakaze, the Harry Gumbo, the Daring. This boat cannot compete with this thing at its current rate. So instead of buffing the gearing's rate or lowering the gearing in the water like they should have done to begin with, they've nerfed the Yu Yang, and now it can't compete at all.
Yeah,
it struggles so
situational.
Much. But they say, well, I mean, it's right there even with the gearing. Well, the gearing sucks against them too. So why not buff both of those and bring them up and throw away that fucking spreadsheet and start, paying attention to actually playing these matchups at how fucking hard it is for anybody to shoot at a Daring and kill him. Mm-hmm. The Daring, in my opinion, is fucking broken as shit. With its ability to disengage as strong and come back with more heal, that thing doesn't need a heal. You want to disengage? Fine, disengage, man. That boat is way strong. Way strong. I think it's probably the strongest tier 10 DD in the game.
So would you say take away the heal and give it back smoke?
No, I mean, what do? Lower the damage on the fucking guns. Because it just absolutely slaughters. It slaughters everything. Like, literally everything can go up against this Daring. And I was watching Mijesh play it, and I played against a couple of these Darings in my 52. I would hit it for 6,000 and 7,000, but he would just smoke up, run away, come back, and he was more healthy than me, so they traded better. So it makes it a broken deal. A Yu Yang can't do that. A Wu Wang can't do that. A fucking Gearing can't do that. So it makes it very, very difficult, and that is the top DD. That is the top DD at tier 10. Now the numbers are going to be skewed because the Harry Gumbo can sit back and just farm damage. The spreadsheet doesn't say this. Well, you're not looking at you're not looking at the reality of the situation. You're going by complete numbers. And it drives me nuts when I hear that. Well, the spreadsheet says this. Well, fuck your spreadsheet, man. Go out there and fucking play with me. Come play with me and watch the way this shit works down. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to hear some of these things. But anyway, I wish that they would tweak the things according to in-game other than spreadsheets. All right, so Sark Farm says, when a CV loses 120 planes in a match, that is ridiculous. No CV should have that many planes. There's this big argument back and forth between the people that say the CV's planes are unlimited, which I still think that they're unlimited, and then those ding-dongs are like, well, there's the numbers out there that say that you have a limited number of planes that you can actually... Fuck you. That's unlimited planes. They can eventually get all of their shit back. Now, I understand that there's a maximum amount of planes that they can get within that 20 minutes on that period, but it's still unlimited planes. Limit that shit. Got it back to where the Midway had 96 fucking planes, and when you lost them, fuck you. Then you were stupid to lose your goddamn planes. That's on you. I mean, it's so brain dead, the CV play. There's no counter CV play, at all whatsoever between CVs. The only thing that they can do is drop fighters on it. They're useless. It's a useless thing, and all it is a fucking damage farm. And it's absolutely asinine. They have unlimited planes. They can just drop it out there. There's no reason at the end of a game, if you've got 75 planes shot down, that these guys have full fucking squadrons still at the end of the game. Because well, I've dropped. I did my little 1 to 2 drops. Well, I did my little 1 to 2 drops, and I still have fucking full on squadrons at the end of the game, but I've lost 70 fucking planes. That's just bullshit, and that's a little bit broken, and it makes them a little bit overpowered toward the end of the game.
So, I agree. First off, the only intelligent counter argument I've heard to that one, let me rephrase that. Somewhat intelligent counter argument is, if they're going to reduce the amount of planes to where eventually you run out, sucks for you, reduce the ammo on the ships. That ship couldn't hold that much ammo. You want to sit there and just spam shots from the back of the map for hours?
You'd be surprised.
Cool.
You'd be
You're
surprised
out of ammo.
at
What are you going to do now?
How much ammo? You'd be surprised. Well, that you're taking one instance of them having unlimited planes, and you're trying to balance it across everything. I'm talking about literally shooting down all of these planes. That's people. That's planes. That's a whole lot of fucking mechanics and shit that are gone. They're just gone because they don't have the fucking people to fill these things up.
I don't think they should put a hard cap, but I think the more planes you lose, it should almost work like a reverse adrenaline rush. The more planes you're willing to just blindly sacrifice, the longer it takes you to actually get planes back to put in the air. So play smart. Stop throwing them away.
I think that's a thing, and I think that people that think that CV isn't just damage farm, they're trying to nitpick on this, because that's basically all it boils down to. CVs are out there damage farming, and that's it. That's all they're doing. I don't care if you're spotting. I don't care if you're trying to. I'm spotting this cap. You're damage farming. Period. End of sentence. That's everything. Every boat in this game is all about damage farm. Every single boat. There's no difference between the damage farm on a CV and the damage farm on a fucking DD and the damage farm on a cruiser and the damage farm on a battleship. It's all the same. You're all farming damage. My damage, my potential damage, I can get my guns knocked out. I can get my modules knocked out to where it limits the damage that I can do, but yet they can still have full fucking squadrons and unlimited planes. So where's their knock? Where's their knock? Where's their damage? If it's good for us, it's good for them. Where's theirs? I can lose guns. Why can't you lose a fucking squadron? Now the next squadron you come up with one less plane.
Yeah.
Or how about this? I drop my little 2 drops, and I'm gonna have these planes for later on in the game. Hey, make it a harsher punishment for them losing a full squadron. You have to make it a harsher punishment. And once those planes are gone, your squadron size gets smaller. So that takes away that two person drop. You drop 2 drops out there and they go back to the boat. Well, guess what? You still lose those. You still lose your fucking squadron.
Yep. If you can track timers on the planes for AA, I think you should be able to track it for squadrons as well. So when you recall that one squadron and you send it back out, that's the first one that's getting targeted next time. So you sacrifice the other 2. That wasn't very smart of you. Now when this next squadron dies, there's your tick. You've now lost a full squadron. You have the reduced return. And once you hit certain tick points, now you're getting one less plane in the air. Oh, now another less plane in the air. Oh, yeah. There's another less plane in the air. So because you're losing too many.
But I will say this: I will not limit them to they can only have 1 plane left at the end of the game. I want them to still be able to be effective with their damage, because if you have 4 attack squads in this one flight of planes and you lose it, you can only get down to a minimum of 1 attack squad. Okay, I'm not talking like 1 total plane, but I'm talking like 3 planes in this drop. Okay, the midway drops 3 planes and 6 torpedoes. Fine, that's the minimum that you can do. You can't go any lower than 3 planes, right?
Yeah, you can get essentially a single salvo out of every flight you throw out.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that they can have the unlimited planes, regardless of what people say, and regardless of what strategery that you guys want to talk about here for CVs. Oh, you got a spot, and then you got to do. I don't give a shit. It's all fucking damage. I'm looking at my rates. I want damage here in my battleships, cruisers, and destroyers, and it's the same fucking concept for the CVs. We need to go get damage. How are we going to do that? I don't like the fact that I can be full health at the end of the game, and they still have 50,000 fucking plays that they can throw up at the time. It's a little bit overkill, and it's a pretty bitchy. It's a pretty terrible thing. It's a pretty terrible thing.
Yeah.
I think they really need to look at the way that it works, because CVs are actionable the entire fucking game. Literally the entire game, they're actionable.
There's no diminishing return. Yeah, I mean, you're not penalized. You're not penalized. There's nothing tells me not to just keep chucking squadrons at you because I don't care.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
like right now, everybody's like, well, let's me reload them quicker. Who cares? I'm still gonna have the same amount of planes at the end. Why do I care if I'm reloading them faster now or later?
It's pretty much the way it is. I mean, I've played it. I've got one tier 10 hack, and I've played a lot of games in tier 8 and tier 6s, and I've lost a lot of planes, and I've got to the point where I didn't have any planes, but I just sat there and waited, and I still got there, and I still was able to be effective, and I was still able to do things, and damage for them. And so they're they did say something about a change for CVs coming up, and I think that this is fine. I've always said that they need to have a cooldown like they used to before you can throw your squad out, because there is absolutely zero reason for that motherfucker to have his planes across the board in less than 2 minutes. And hitting people for 10 to 20,000 damage in under 2 minutes. I had a guy, Revan, got hit in his West Virginia from a tier 8 rocket plane, 20,000 damage in 2 drops.
Holy shit!
Less than 3 minutes into the game. I'm sorry, bullshit. Fuck you. That's too much. That's too much.
Yeah.
And he shot down 0 planes. Shot down 0 planes. And there was absolutely nothing that he can do. Now, I don't mind dying. And I know you don't mind dying in this game, as long as it's on your own terms. But when you take that ability for me to play the game out of my hands where there's nothing that I can do, then you've got a problem. Because then it's like, you know what, fuck you, there's no reason for me even to play this game if I cannot go die on my own. You know, if I go broadside and I get fucking deleted, fine, that was me. But at least I was in the game. I've had it to where midways come in on tier 8 planes, drop them, and they are absolutely 0 shot. They have not shot their guns at all, and you're dead. I'm sorry, but that's bullshit. You should not be able to do that in this game, ever.
Yeah. I still would love to see a classic mode where we roll it back and let people remember what it was like.
You want a classic mode? Go play fucking Chinese server. They still got the old CVs.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Go play
I didn't know they saw the old CV. Why?
Because they didn't like it. I don't know. Chinese does their own shit.
Ain't that right?
Yep.
Don't say anything against them. You get a re-education camp.
All right. So the difference between getting death struck from a boat and then getting death struck from a CV is 2 different things, because I have to maneuver my boat, and that's on me for getting death struck. That's on me for putting my boat in that position to get death struck. If I cannot shoot down enough planes and to still get death struck by a CV, then there's fucking something wrong. Then that takes it right out of your fucking hands, and that's a bullshit way to die. I want to be able to play the game. I don't mind dying. I don't mind dying. I don't mind losing my boat. But I want to be able to lose my boat on my own. You know, if I get death struck, fine. Then I made a mistake, and that's on me. And that's the only thing that I can say about it. That's my fault for being broadside. But when there's nothing that you can do and your AA doesn't shoot down enough planes and you still get death struck, how is that on me? How is that on me? You can't just fucking dodge, and that's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever. Just dodge. Fuck you, arrogant pricks. That is not a good answer to that problem. Just dodge.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a meme that took off way too quickly.
Yep. Revan 6 says, the Jervis, the sign-up, and the Belfast is his top 3 for the rank sprint. Good choices. Jimmy Tank says, the sign-up, Fiji, and the Jervis.
I think we're seeing a pattern so far.
Will Barron says the sign off the Leningrad and the Indianapolis for his top three picks.
He drinks, though.
We have Plastic says Plastico Fat, Lion, Lazo, Indianapolis, and Minsk. Those are his three. And he said he knows the Minsk, but it seems odd he's just good in it. The Minsk is good on the outside. I just don't think it has good cap presence. If you do have the same feeling, it appears that you need more stars to rank out than before. If true, what's the rank sprint about? After just short. It's actually because they delayed this. You're only going to have 10 days to rank out in this one. You have one less star to gain in each rank. So take that in consideration.
I don't know why they did that.
I don't know why they delayed it. I don't remember if they said they delayed it. There was a mistake in the way that it worked. But
I don't know. Anyway, I know we got that clan thing starting this weekend or whatever that one is. Yeah.
I don't know. Way too many tier 9s and 10s that can only be obtained by buying coal or buying. They just should be obtainable by missions or put to the tree and research normally. Wargaming is just milking it. I don't have any problem with people buying these ships at tier 9 and 10. I don't care. But there is opportunities to earn a lot of this, and if you're not earning it, don't bitch. If you're not gonna put forth the effort to earn it, then I don't care. Then that's on you. That's on you. But don't bitch and moan at these other people that are doing it. All right, that's. Let me put that out of the way. The next thing, you can gain coal, at least 1,200 coal every day, by taking resource boxes. A minimum of 1,200 a day. Pretty much every mission that they do gives coal. Everything that they do gives coal. So it's just a matter of what your priorities are. What your priorities are and how you spend the coal.
Win some CC crates. There's a big ass coal infusion out of those.
Titus Dooley, how do you feel about the limited amount of fuel for this event? I feel it's making people with jobs buy crates to get the main reward. You can before the crates even had come out, or before I had gotten any crates from Wargaming, I had 360 some odd coal or fuel tokens. That's just by doing the missions, and you have to continue to do the missions to get the coal. Or to get the field tokens. So I think it was fine. I mean, if you guys didn't play it, you have a fucking month. You have a literal month to get this thing done. If you can't do it in a month, I'm sorry about your luck, bro. Then buy those boxes and make up for it. If you know that you're not going to be able to do it and you really want this boat, which I highly recommend the Benham, grind out as much as you can until the last couple of days and then supplement. Then supplement with the boxes to buy it. So don't just go off and buy $200 worth of boxes, because that's just ridiculous, because you have a whole fucking month to get this thing done.
One of our folks last night said over on the C server, somebody spent 300, I'm calling them Kiwis because I don't know what the hell New Zealand dollars are called, in crates to be able to get it. My statement to him was, that guy's stupid. He should have waited till the very end, ground out what he could, and probably saved 60 to 70% of that money, depending on how busy of a schedule he has. But that was dumb. That was on him.
Yeah,
somebody with too much disposable income who wanted to have a reason to complain later. So they went through a shit ton of money to say, see what I had to do? No, you did not have to do that. You chose to do that. You're dumb.
$220 on the NA server if you straight up buy it. Revan, me and my man Revan were talking about this yesterday on the show, twitch.tv/ServanMyK. We were talking about it, and he was like, you know what? I'm going to miss a couple of days here, but that's okay. I'm going to see how much it's going to take. And one guy missed like 2 days worth of missions, and that equivalent. It was the equivalent of one box. One $5 box was the equivalent if you missed a couple of days.
That's not bad,
because you get 15 fuel tokens. You get 15 fuel tokens per box. So if you miss one, that's what, 9. If you miss a day, that's 9 fuel tokens a day that you miss. So you could literally miss 2 days and only need one box to make up for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not seeing the problem. Just do the missions every day. Go in there and play 6 or 7 games, and you're done. That's all you got to do. 9 tokens if you already have the hill, 6 if you don't. A day.
I think the one they did probably the best was the British one. It was obtainable with a decent amount of effort. You didn't have to wallet warrior your way into the poorhouse.
Didn't we have to wallet warrior $1?
Oh, you're right. $1.
We had to Wallet Warrior $1 to finish it up. And
Yeah.
that was for the Cossack, and that was fucking worth that $1.
Yeah. A Cossack for $1. Okay. Sold.
Sounds good to me.
Like, it was not a bad ship before they fixed it, and then after they buffed it, it became an amazing ship.
They buffed the turret traverse, and I still use Burt Dunkirk on there with the turret traverse.
Well, what's funny
And
is the
even
turret
better.
traverse they put it back to was one of the levels we were testing it at before they released it, and they down-tuned it. We all kind of went, huh?
Yeah. I remember playing the Cossack. Dude, that was I got 1 million within the first 2 weeks that boat came out. I had 1 million XP on it. That's how much I enjoyed it, and that's how strong
You
that
went
boat
hog
was.
wild on that
Dude,
ship.
I love that boat. I sit there and I will argue that about anybody out here that is the number one best boat they put out in all of 2018. That is the best boat they put out in 2018 was the Cossack. Now, think about it. You had the Boise and the Wavy de Julio that came out, which are very high up on my list as well. And then you had that shitstorm of what the Massachusetts is. Now, a lot of people are going to say the Massachusetts, but the Cossack is so good.
See, I would argue the Boise, but I'm a cruiser monkey.
Yeah.
Not a destroyer man.
Yep. And,
Cossack would be number 2 for me.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Boise would be number 1 for me.
Yeah. I got the Cossack number 1, and I had the Boise and the Wavy number 2. Very easily number 2. All right, so check this out. We're gonna go last couple of minutes here for the podcast. If there's any more questions, comments, or concerns that you guys would like to get out there, go ahead and put them in now. We'll do one more question, and I think there's a couple of comments here. A couple of comments. Citizen 01 is talking about the CV. He's like, there's a strategy that you need to adhere to in order to be successful in CV. It isn't just damage farming. To be successful in a CV, you have to have the high damage. Period. You have to do the damage. You have to go and clean up those kills, which is damage farming, and you have to go spot these other DDs and then hit them with your fucking overpowered rockets. That's farming damage. So I mean, it's basically all boils down into where can you get the most effectiveness out of your damage that you possibly have.
Yeah.
So I mean, the whole game ties into farming damage, and that's so anybody that tries to think that any other way, quit nuking it. That's a saying that we had in the Navy: don't nuke it. You're overthinking things. Boil it down to the most basic thing is damage farming, and they're unprecedented the amount of damage that they can farm, or the opportunity for them to farm.
They have no equal in their damage farm ability.
Huh. Should there
Surely
be
the Yamato catching every cruiser broadside, they have no rival for the amount of damage they can farm.
Should there be a new peach flavored captain? No, peach sucks.
No, hell no to the peach. Screw you, Rob. I see who said that.
All right, boys.
Hashtag still not peach, man.
We got no more questions, comments, or concerns that I really want to talk about right now. We had one guy call us a crybabies. And I just banned him because that's unproductive chat. So that guy's just a moron. So anyway, forget that guy. So anyway, guys, that is going to do it for episode 26. We want to remind you guys that next week, what is next week? What day is that? The 9th, July the 9th, 2019. Oh, Jeezums will come on and we'll have another discussion. We will be finished. Hopefully you guys will be finished with the rank sprint. We'll talk a little bit about rank sprint and our experience with that, and moving forward, whatever comes up between now and then. Also on the 16th of July, I have Oni the Wicked coming up, and my birthday is this month on July the 23rd, which is another Tuesday. So I'm trying to debate on whether if I want to do a podcast on that day or do we just play games that day. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Can we get another bikini stream for your birthday because it's summertime?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, there was a lot of things involved getting that thing put together. Number one, that was like, $500 worth of over a course of like 3 months to get that thing put down. But we'll figure something out. I will do another one eventually. But that was a lot of fun doing that thing.
So how about for 1,000, you get your chest waxed on stream?
Chest waxed? Oh my god, dude! Chest waxed? Wow.
But for 1,000.
I don't know.
So they really got to earn that one.
Like I don't even know about that because there is a policy for Twitch to not harm yourself on camera. I don't know. Would some people consider that harming? I did get a tattoo on camera, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's It's a tough call.
How much for Khreegor to shave clean?
There's not enough money in Twitch.
You're lying, dude. You're lying. I told him for that $1,000 I got donated right there, I'd shave it on stream. I'd cut it. I don't care. It'll fucking grow back.
I have not shaved my goatee off in 24 years.
24 years? I know.
It has been trimmed. This thing used to be about 3 times as long, and my hair used to be so long I could sit on it. I was the epitome of metalhead growing up.
Yeah.
I looked like a 6'3" all muscle Viking. Then I discovered Mountain Dew, the internet, and never mind. We can't say the rest of it on Twitch.
Mountain Dew, the internet, and you porn.
Yep.
Porn. That's the way it goes. All right, guys. I love you, man. Thank you very much for hanging out with us again, Mr. Khreegor. You guys can find him at twitch.tv/Khreegor and over at the Twatters at @the_Khreegor. Also, you guys are here in the channel already, so you already know. But if you guys are out on the YouTube, you guys can hit me up at twitch.tv/SirVenomIK or at Sir_Venom_IK. Now, we should be playing a couple more games here. I don't know if you got time to play today.
I do have time for a few games.
Right.
The wife made me a quick quesadilla to get something in me, but then I do actually have to get some
Absolutely.
dinner.
Go get some food, man. Go get some food. All right, boys. We'll talk to you guys
let's get a couple
next
games
week.
in first.
Across Your Bow episode 26 is now in the books. We will guys see you guys next week. Enjoy the rank season, man. Enjoy this event. Play it for what it is. Get that Benham, man. I don't care what you guys have to do. Call in sick from fucking work one day and go get this goddamn Benham. This thing is amazing. You guys will love this boat. I'm telling you right now. It's going to be one of those boats that people are going to be like, oh, the Benham. People are going to love this thing like they love the Fletcher. And I don't know why people love the Fletcher, but the Benham is better. So, either way, guys, I love you. Thank you very much for watching. Khreegor, you got anything else you want to say to him?
Nope. Keep your torpedoes in the water and out of your friends.
All right, boys. We'll see you guys next time.